This is the last in our series of meditations on the theme of grace. And so I want to share some scripture with you first from Matthew chapter 5, beginning with verse 38. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist an evildoer. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn the other also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your coat, give your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go also the 2nd mile. Give to everyone who begs from you, and do not refuse anyone who wants to borrow from you. Grace is contagious. It's surprising and can catch us off guard, a little bit like someone telling a joke in the middle of a sentence and you weren't really, or in the middle of a conversation and you weren't expecting it. But ungrace, as Philip Yancey writes, can be just as contagious. It can make us sick with anger and grief. Breaking the cycles of ungrace can be difficult. In his book, What's So Amazing About Grace, Yancey describes these patterns of ungrace being passed on from generation to generation in families, almost like a genetic trait. I want to share a story with you that I've often used during a season of stewardship, when we're in that mode. Years ago, I heard about a game that was played at a large youth gathering. Hundreds of students had gathered together in an auditorium to hear inspirational speakers, to sing songs, to share faith, and explore their faith. And they played a game called Give It All Away. And so the object of the game was to get rid of, at the end of the game, the winners would have no coins left in their pockets. You're supposed to get rid of all your pocket change. Ready, set, go. And all of a sudden, coins were flying everywhere. Kids were laughing. They're trying to stuff coins into each other's pockets. Coins are falling on the floor. The auditorium becomes filled with uproarious laughter. After 2 minutes, the game stops. Then the game changes. Now the object of the game is to get all you can. Instantly, the mood in the auditorium changes. The money that was once so abundant just disappears. People are scrounging around on the floor to get the coins that had fallen down. With grim determination, they are seeking back the money they had just given away. The mood entirely changes. The same number of coins were in that room just a few minutes before, but it was like they'd completely disappeared. Grace can be like that. I'm heartened to hear the stories these days of people who are sharing grace-filled moments in the midst of this COVID-19 virus. Maybe you've seen some of these on the news as well. Neighbors are gathering out in the street in front of their houses, keeping a safe distance apart, but they're singing songs together. They're exercising and stretching and talking to each other, keeping their spirits up. Maybe you saw the video of people in Italy out on their porches singing to one another, and people are doing that in this country as well. My niece's little boy turned 2 years old last weekend. They had a Skype birthday party where grandparents hundreds of miles away could still join in the party. Aunts and uncles logged on, and so they had this virtual birthday party for a 2-year-old. Or I saw a video recently also of neighbors stepping out on their porches and singing happy birthday to their 8-year-old neighbor. They wanted to be sure that her birthday was recognized and celebrated, even though they couldn't be in close proximity to each other. There are other stories that are filled with grace and are contagious. People sewing masks for healthcare workers. People sharing what they have, people doing errands for each other, calling each other to make sure that they are safe. Can this be a time where grace is even more contagious than a virus and more contagious than fear? My hope and prayer is that grace will abound for you and those that you love. May God's grace multiply in you so that holy healing may spread like wildfire. Peace be with you.